Today we continue yesterday's class relating to seasonal unit root. So we have discussed about the concepts of seasonal unit root and how it is different from the concept of unit root we discussed for annual time series. Okay. Now today we try to discuss how to carry out seasonal unit root test. So for that purpose, we are considering mainly the quarterly data. You can also uh, expand the discussion by taking monthly data. What would be the expression, corresponding expression we have discussed in the class? So you can try to find out the steps and the relevant equations, relevant forms for the monthly data at home. Okay. So for quarterly data, we have discussed in the last class, we can express the purely stochastic seasonal time series in this way. 1 minus L to the power 4 yt4 is equal to epsilon t4. So it is basically, if you try to express it in general form, you can write 1 minus L to the power s into yts is equal to epsilon ts. For quarterly data, s is equal to 4. Seasonal frequency 4. Within a year, quarter appears 4 times. Now, in annual time series, s is equal to 1. So you can remember in your semester 3 class in masters, we express the random walk model without drift simply in this way: 1 minus L into yt is equal to epsilon t. So the corresponding expression for quarterly data, 1 minus L to the power 4 yt4 is equal to epsilon t4. Now the expression in terms of the lag operator L, 1 minus L to the power 4 here, is called inverse autoregressive polynomial. So in the case of a quarterly data, inverse autoregressive polynomial will be of order 4. So you can factorize this. You can write in the next step 1 minus L into 1 plus L into 1 plus L square into yt4 is equal to epsilon t4. So in quarterly time series, there is a possibility of the presence of 4 unit roots, because you can get 4 different values for L if you solve the inverse characteristic function by setting 1 minus L into 1 plus L into 1 plus L square equal to 0. If you set this polynomial equal to 0, you will get what is called the inverse polynomial function. Also, you can convert the inverse polynomial function in terms of the characteristic equation by setting 1 by L is equal to Z like this. You have followed this trick in annual time series. So if you solve it, there are 4 values of L. From the first part, if you set 1 minus L equal to 0, so value of L will be equal to 1. For the second part, 1 plus L equal to 0, so value of L is equal to minus 1. For the last part, 1 plus L square equal to 0. If you solve it for L, it will be a complex number plus I minus I. Now these 4 unit roots. Unit root means the value of the characteristic roots equal to unity. So the 4 characteristic roots whose value is equal to 1 have different meaning. For the first one, 1 minus L equal to 0, here you will get the value equal to 1. It indicates the presence of unit root in 0 frequency. That is when we are considering no frequency at all. So no frequency means we are considering the annual movement for the longer period or non-seasonal part. So if we ignore the seasonal fluctuations, the frequency will be 0. First part will capture this one. The second part, the second value, L is equal to minus 1. It captures the half cycle per quarter. That is 2 cycles per year. In other words, this value indicates the behavior of stochastic trend biannually. The last 2 values provides the behavior of stochastic trend on 1/4 cycle per quarter. That is 1 cycle per year. Now, how many seasonal cycles you can get in a seasonal time series? You can keep in mind the formula is twice pi j by s. This is the total number of seasonal cycles, where s is a seasonal frequency. So for quarterly data, s is equal to 4. So if you put s is equal to 4, it is basically pi j by 2. And here, j is equal to 1 and 2. That is, j varies from 1 to s by 2. So it is basically indicates theta. So if you take cos theta or sin theta, you can get the frequency of the seasonal fluctuations in each case. So yes.
Sir, is J then a radian measure?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So it is in terms of radian measure, yes. Now, keeping in mind this structure for quarterly time series, let us start with how we can proceed for unit root test. The first test was developed, perhaps we have mentioned in the last class, by Dickey, Hasja and Fuller in 1984. Dickey, Hasja, Fuller in 1984 developed unit root tests for seasonal time series. It is basically the extension of the Dickey-Fuller test for annual time series. This test is, in short, is known as DHF test. Dickey, Hasja, Fuller. And you can remember, we mentioned earlier, Dickey-Fuller test was applicable only for AR1 model, autoregressive of order 1. Similarly, DHF test is also applicable for SAR1 model, seasonal autoregressive of order 1. So, if your data follows higher order of autoregression, in that case, you have to introduce some augmented terms, because ultimately you have to express higher order autoregressive form into AR1 if you want to execute this test. So when you express higher order autoregressive model into AR1, there will be a possibility of serial correlation. To control for serial correlation, you need to consider the augmented terms. So it is similar what we have discussed in the case of annual time series. Okay. So the expression we have shown here is basically the augmented form of DHF form. So it is expressed as delta S YT is equal to rho YT minus S plus sum of beta J delta S YT minus J plus epsilon T. In the case of annual time series, S is equal to 1. So you can remember, for annual time series, augmented Dickey-Fuller equation was delta YT is equal to rho YT minus 1 plus sum of beta J delta YT minus J plus epsilon T. If you add here the deterministic train component, so you can add more beta into T terms like this. Now try to express this augmented form for quarterly data. So for quarterly data, S is equal to 4. So what would be the expression for quarterly data? Delta 4 YT is equal to rho into YT minus 4 plus sum of beta J delta 4 YT minus J plus epsilon T. J is equal to 1 to K. What is K? K is the optimum lag length to be determined before estimating the model. And how to determine optimum lag length? You know, for annual time series, we have discussed archaic information criteria, Bayesian information criteria like this. In the seasonal time series, it is suggested that we should follow modified archaic information criteria, MAIC, to determine the optimum lag length, the value of K. So after estimating this model, you have to test this hypothesis. Under null hypothesis, rho equal to 0, alternative rho less than 0. So if rho equal to 0 is not rejected, how many unit roots present in the series? Look at this one. Put S is equal to 4 for quarterly data. So it is delta 4 YT is equal to rho YT minus 4 plus sum of beta J delta 4 YT minus J plus epsilon T. So if rho equal to 0 is not rejected, in this case, unit root presents. And how many unit roots? You can remember the method developed in Dickey and Pantula to find out multiple unit roots in an annual time series. So if you try to connect this concept, we can say here, non-rejection of null hypothesis indicates the presence of 4 unit roots in the case of quarterly data. And rejection of H0 indicates there is no unit root in the series. That is, the series is stationary one. So in DHF test, we have hypothesized 2 extreme situations: presence of 4 unit roots for quarterly data and no unit roots. But we have discussed earlier, in the case of quarterly data, there are different number of unit roots, indicating the different seasonal frequencies, seasonal cycles, better to say, not frequency. So these kind of possibilities cannot be captured by this test. So in that sense, the test developed by DHF is very much restrictive. As a result, later on in 1990, Hilleberg, Engel, Granger, and Wu developed further the techniques for unit root in presence of seasonality in the data. And their original work in 1990 was restricted for the quarterly data. Later on, this state was further developed, further modified by many other scholars for monthly time series, daily time series, etc. So Hilleberg, Engel, Granger, and Wu developed first the test for quarterly time series. Later on, it was expanded further for other seasonal frequencies as well, for the monthly series, for the daily series, etc. This test is in short known as Hazy test. And it is very much popular today to look into the issues relating to the presence of stochastic trend in a seasonal time series. The basic advantage of this test is it can capture unit roots at different seasonal frequencies, which was not possible in the earlier test, that is DHF test, Dickey, Hasja, Fuller. If you follow this methodology, you can test the number of maximum unit roots may present in a series against the alternative no unit root. So there are two extremes. This test cannot capture the intermediate situations. So Hazy test is flexible in that sense. Now for quarterly series, we have focused mainly on the quarterly series, and you can develop the steps for monthly series at home. What would be the appropriate specification at different steps for monthly series? For quarterly time series, the equation to be estimated in augmented form can be expressed in this way. Just write it down. Delta for YT, 4 indicates quarterly, is equal to alpha plus beta into T. Alpha is the drift parameter. Beta into T, the presence of deterministic trend, non-seasonal, plus gamma I DI. DI indicates seasonal dummy. So this part captures the deterministic seasonality, and after that The remaining part is relevant for the stochastic seasonality. So this is the intercept term or the drift parameter. This is the deterministic trend for the longer period for the non-seasonal component. This is seasonal dummies capturing deterministic component of seasonality. And after that, the term used here captures the stochastic component of seasonality. Now look at carefully the part I have highlighted. Pi 1 Z1 T minus 1 plus pi 2 Z2 T minus 1 plus pi 3 Z3 T minus 1 plus pi 4 Z4 T minus 1. In your earlier methodology developed in DHF, it was simply rho into y T minus 4. Just you have taken only one possibility. But here we have considered four possibilities. One is captured by pi 1 Z1 T minus 1. Another one captured by pi 2 Z2 T minus 1. Then pi 3 Z3 T minus 1. And pi 4 Z4 T minus 1. So there are four alternatives in the case of a quarterly time series. And this part indicates the augmented. If the data or if the series you have follows higher order autoregression, in that case, you need to consider augmented terms. So how many augmented terms depends on the value of k. So k is the order of augmentation. And you know perhaps the order of augmentation will be one less than the order of autoregression. So if your data follows AR2 in seasonal frequency, SAR2, in that case, k is equal to 1. In the case of SAR3, k is equal to 2, etc. So here also k is the optimum lag length to be determined by following the information criteria. Okay. Now you can write down the augmented form in Hazy test for monthly series. What would be the expression? It would be 12 delta 12 YT is equal to alpha plus beta into T plus sum of gamma I di, I is equal to 1 to 11. Because there are 12 months, so you can take 11 month dummies. So I will vary from 1 to 11. And here you have 12 components. For quarterly series, you have 4 components. For monthly series, you have 12 components. Pi 1, Z1, pi 2, Z2, pi 3, Z3, pi 4, Z4, etc. up to pi 12, Z12. In the augmented term, it will be delta to the power 12. Okay? Likecho?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
স্যার টাউ এর মানেটা কি এখানে?
বলছি টাও হচ্ছে কোএফিসিয়েন্ট অগমেন্টেড টার্মে, আগে যেমন এখানে যেমন আমরা বিটা নিয়েছিলাম, বিটা জে, সিমিলারলি
Okay, sir.
tau j. So in the first step, you have to find out the optimum lag length, as in the case of annual time series. Now, you need to define what is Z1, what is Z2, what is Z3, because your series is YT, not Z. So how do you define Z1? How do you define Z2? In the case of quarterly data, Z1 is defined as this. Z1 T minus 1 is equal to 1 plus L square plus L cube into YT minus 1. This is equal to, you can write further, YT minus 1 plus YT minus 2 plus YT minus 3 plus YT minus 4. Okay? Because L into YT minus 1 means YT minus 2. L square into YT minus 1 means YT minus 3. L3 into YT minus 1 means YT minus 4. So Z1 T minus 1 is equal to YT minus 1 plus YT minus 2 plus YT minus 3 plus YT minus 4. So you are considering the lag length 1 to 4 for the quarterly series. What would be the similar expression for monthly series? It will move up to L to the power 11. So in that case, Z1 T minus 1 will be defined as the sum of YT minus 1, YT minus 2 in this way, YT minus 12. That is Z1 covers, for example, suppose we are now in October, in the case of monthly data. So you need to take into account the values for September, August, July, June, May, April. In this way, you have to cover past 12 months. In the case of quarterly data, you have to cover past 4 quarters in ZT minus 1, Z1 T minus 1. What is Z2 T minus 1? Z2 T minus 1 is defined in this way. Minus of 1 minus L plus L square minus L cube into YT minus 1. You can write further minus YT minus 1 plus YT minus 2 minus YT minus 3 plus YT minus 4. So in that case also, you have to take the past 4 quarters but alternate in sign, starting from the negative side. What is Z3? Z3 T minus 1 is equal to minus 1 minus L squared into YT minus 1. So you can again write it minus YT minus 1 plus yt minus 3. And what is z for t minus 1? It is similar, minus 1 minus L square into yt minus 2. So it is equal to minus yt minus 2 plus yt minus 4. So Z3t minus 1 considers the odd frequencies in quarterly basis. Z4 considered the even frequencies in quarterly basis. Now the hazy test is basically a joint test for both non-seasonal and seasonal unit roots. Presence of non-seasonal unit roots indicates the zero frequency unit roots. Zero frequency means there is no frequency within the year, so it appears annual basis. So it is basically equivalent to the annual movement. And the seasonal unit roots. Seasonal unit roots, even in the case of quarterly data, there are two possibilities as we have shown. One is 2 cycles within a year. Another one is 1 cycle within a year. In the case of 2 cycles, in each quarter contains half cycle. In the case of single cycle, each quarter contains 1/4 of the cycle. Now here, the null hypothesis to be tested is, you can write h naught pi 1 is equal to 0. h2 pi 2 is equal to 0. Sorry, h naught pi 2 equal to 0. Similarly, third null hypothesis, h naught pi 3 is equal to pi 4 equal to 0. So what are pi 1, pi 2, pi 2, pi 3? They are the coefficient for z1, z2, z3 and z4. Now look at, we have taken pi 3 and pi 4 together in the third null hypothesis. Now try to understand the meaning of each null hypothesis considered in this test. The first one, pi 1 equal to 0. Pi 1 is the coefficient for z1, z1 t minus 1. What is z1 t minus 1? z1 t minus 1 is equal to yt minus 1 plus yt minus 2 plus yt minus 3 plus yt minus 4. So what is it? Think it conceptually. What is z1 t minus 1? Basically, বলো তো, z1 কে তো আমরা ডিফাইন করলাম এইভাবে, তাহলে z1 অ্যাকচুয়ালি কি কনসিডার করছে? বলতে পারবে কেউ? z1 এ তুমি কি পাচ্ছ? চারটে কোয়ার্টারের টোটাল, তাই না? তাহলে আমি যদি চারটে কোয়ার্টারকে টোটাল করি তাহলে ব্যাপারটা কি দাঁড়ালো? তাহলে তো আমার অ্যানুয়াল ফিগারই চলে এলো।
স্যার নন সিজনাল ইউনিট রুট আছে কিনা সেটা দেখবার জন্য কি আমরা z1 কে টেস্ট করব?
হ্যাঁ, তার কারণ হচ্ছে z1 এর মধ্যে কোনো সিজনাল ফ্যাক্টর নেই। কেন নেই? Z1 এর মধ্যে তুমি সমস্ত সিজনগুলোকে অ্যাড করে নিয়েছো। Z1 এর মধ্যে কি কি নিয়েছো? Y1 নিয়েছো, YT-1 নিয়েছো, YT-2 নিয়েছো, YT-3, T-4, চারটে কোয়ার্টারকেই তুমি যোগ করে নিয়েছো। চারটে কোয়ার্টারকে কোয়ার্টারলি ডেটার ক্ষেত্রে চারটে কোয়ার্টার অ্যাড করলে তুমি কি পাবে? অ্যানুয়াল ভ্যালু।
ইয়েস স্যার।
তাহলে এইভাবে প্রত্যেকটা ইয়ারেই যদি আমি চারটে কোয়ার্টারকে অ্যাড করে নিই, তাহলে আমার আলটিমেটলি কি দাঁড়ালো? Z1 ভ্যালুটা কি ইন্ডিকেট করছে? অ্যানুয়াল মুভমেন্ট। So there is no seasonal component in Z1. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the first null hypothesis, this one, indicates the presence of unit root for the longer period. At the zero frequency. What is the implication for the second null hypothesis? H naught pi 2 equal to 0. The second hypothesis basically tests the presence of biannual unit roots. That is half cycles within a quarter. Why half cycles? Again, look at the value of Z2. How to get? This is Z2. So what is Z2? You have written it in expanded form. Z2 is equal to minus YT-1 plus YT-2 minus YT-3 plus YT-4. So you have added YT-2 and YT-4. Again added YT-1 and YT-3. Then you have take a subtraction. তাহলে তুমি Z2 এর মধ্যে কি করছো? দুটো কোয়ার্টারকে কম্বাইন করে দিচ্ছ একসাথে। কোনটা কোনটা? ফার্স্ট কোয়ার্টার থার্ড কোয়ার্টারকে একসাথে নিচ্ছ, সেকেন্ড কোয়ার্টার ফোর্থ কোয়ার্টারকে একসাথে নিচ্ছ। So the values for second and fourth quarters less the values for first and third quarter. তাই তো Z2?
ইয়েস স্যার।
তাহলে Z2 এর মধ্যে যে ভ্যারিয়েশনটা রিফ্লেক্টেড হচ্ছে সেটা কি? চারটে কোয়ার্টারকে তুমি দুটোতে কনভার্ট করে নিলে, তার মানে বাই-অ্যানুয়াল হয়ে গেল ব্যাপারটা। 6 মাস পর পর ইউ আর টেকিং 2 quarters টুগেদার। Okay, for that reason pi 2, the second null hypothesis, captures the presence of biannual unit roots. What is the
Sir-
implication for third one?
স্যার একটা কথা জিজ্ঞেস করতে চাই, এখানটা তো আমরা অড আর ইভেন কোয়ার্টার্স গুলো আলাদা করছি, বাট ইটস নট লাইক উই আর ডিভাইডিং দ্য এন্টায়ার
না,
ইনটু ফার্স্ট হাফ এন্ড সেকেন্ড হাফ।
হ্যাঁ, ইয়েস, মানে ফার্স্ট কোয়ার্টার সেকেন্ড কোয়ার্টার একসাথে নিলাম, আবার থার্ড কোয়ার্টার ফোর্থ কোয়ার্টার একসাথে নিলাম, ব্যাপারটা এরকম না।
হ্যাঁ ওটাই।
এখানে তো তুমি প্রথমে তাহলে Z1 এর সাথে Z2 এর তফাৎটা কোথায়? Z1 এ তুমি চারটে কোয়ার্টারকে সিম্পলি অ্যাড করে নিয়েছিলে।
হ্যাঁ
সিম্পলি অ্যাড করে নিলে মানে কি হলো? অ্যানুয়াল ফিগার হয়ে গেল,
হ্যাঁ
অ্যানুয়াল মুভমেন্ট। তাহলে Z1 এর মধ্যে শুধু অ্যানুয়াল মুভমেন্টটাই রিফ্লেক্টেড হচ্ছে,
ওকে।
ঠিক আছে? এবার Z2 এর মধ্যে কি হচ্ছে? Z2 এর মধ্যে তুমি ফার্স্ট কোয়ার্টার থার্ড কোয়ার্টার অ্যাড করছো, আবার সেকেন্ড কোয়ার্টার ফোর্থ কোয়ার্টার অ্যাড করছো।
হ্যাঁ
এই যে দুটো সাম যেটা পেলে 2 কোয়ার্টার, সেটাকে আবার ডিফারেন্স করছো,
হ্যাঁ
তাই তো?
হ্যাঁ, তাহলে বেসিক্যালি ইভেন আর অড এর ডিফারেন্স,
Yes,
ইভেন
yes.
কোয়ার্টার্স আর অড কোয়ার্টার্স এর
Yes,
ডিফারেন্স।
even quarters and odd quarters. And the implication of the third null hypothesis, pi 3 is equal to pi 4 equal to 0. It captures the another possibility, that is one cycle in a year, that is 1/4 cycle per quarter. How? Take Z3 and Z4. We have taken pi 3, pi 4 together. So what is the value for Z3 and Z4? This is the value for Z3. Try to understand the value for Z3. So it is basically yt minus 1 plus yt minus 3. And Z4 is basically yt minus 2 and yt minus 4. Okay. So in this way, in hazy test, you can consider different forms of the unit roots in a seasonal series. Now, what are the alternatives against this? The first alternative, pi 1 less than 0, indicating no seasonal unit roots, non-seasonal unit roots. Second alternative, pi 2 less than 0, indicating there is no biannual unit roots. Third alternative, pi 3 not equal to 0, pi 4 not equal to 0. So this alternative indicates there is no unit root in the annual cycles. So these are the hypotheses considered in the hazy test originally. Later on, this test was developed further by many authors. Among them, Del Barrio, Castro, Osborne and Taylor, 2012, is the important development, and they have followed the same hypothesis but in a different way. So the hazy test expanded by Del Barrio, Castro, Osborne and Taylor could be looked at in terms of the radian measures, in terms of the seasonal frequencies. So how to express? So now we discuss the hazy test. The test is the same, null hypothesis, alternatives are the same, but the techniques, the steps is somehow little different. Now they consider the behavior of a seasonal time series in terms of both the deterministic part as well as the stochastic part. So they define the data generating process of a univariate seasonal time series as yt is equal to mu t plus xt. Here mu t indicates the deterministic part. In the earlier specification also, you have a deterministic part. Which part was deterministic? This part was deterministic. This part captures the deterministic seasonality. And this part captures stochastic seasonality. But they express in much more general form than the Helleberg et al. Considered in 1990. So now let we try to understand the steps developed by them. So this is the specification for a time series yt is equal to mu t plus xt. And look at carefully. We have not used here any seasonal frequency. Yt means it is a annual time series. T for period 1, period 2, year 1, year 2, year 3, etc. Now in the stochastic part, xt, we introduce seasonal frequency. So xt is explained in terms of this. So I have written here for quarterly, so you can write it in general. S alpha s of L xt is equal to ut, where s is a seasonal frequency. L, you know, the lag operator. So alpha s L, this is basically the polynomial function of order s in the lag operator. And by setting it equal to 0, you will get the inverse characteristic equation. For quarterly series, s is equal to 4. For monthly series, s is equal to 12, etc. So you can write this polynomial alpha SL in expanded form in this way. Alpha SL is equal to 1 minus phi 1L minus, 1 minus alpha 1L minus alpha 2L square minus, in this way, alpha S L to the power S. Now this lag polynomial alpha SL, so this is applicable for seasonal frequency S. So you can specify it for a quarterly data, for monthly data by setting S is equal to 4, S is equal to 12. So in the case of quarterly data, alpha 4L is equal to 1 minus alpha 1L minus alpha 2L square minus alpha 3L cube minus alpha 4L to the power 4. Similarly, in the case of monthly, it will continue up to alpha 12 L to the power 12.
Sir, what is the meaning of UT that we are using in that ASL equation?
UT is the random error, white noise error.
Okay.
UT is the white noise error. Now, what is interesting in their methodology, they express this lag polynomial, which is basically defined in this way. They define the same thing by using the spectral function, like this. So alpha s in general, the lag polynomial, they define in this way. This is equal to 1 minus alpha naught L this part, highlighted part, please write it down. 1 minus alpha naught L into 1 minus alpha s by 2 in suffix, alpha s by 2 L, bracket close, then pi means multiplication, pi of, use third bracket, 1 minus twice, use second bracket, beta 1j, cos of twice pi j by s, minus beta 2j, sine of twice pi j by s, second bracket close, into L, plus beta 1j square plus beta 2j square whole into L square. This is the expression for lag polynomial used by them. Now, what is S star? S is a seasonal frequency. S star is equal to S by 2 minus 1. Okay. Now, write it down. Write the lag polynomial function for the quarterly data. Put S is equal to 4. So, alpha 4L is equal to 1 minus alpha naught L. I have not written here, but you should write. Just by setting S is equal to 4. Alpha 4L is equal to 1 minus alpha naught L into 1 minus alpha 2L into, what is the value for S star here for quarterly data?
1.
One.
S star is equal to 1. So you do not need to take any multiplication. So here the expression 1 minus twice beta 1j cos of pi j by 2 minus beta 2j sine of pi j by 2 plus beta 1j square plus beta 2j square into L square. Okay. Now in this expression, again, alpha naught captures the non-seasonal stochastic trend, or it is the mean value associated with zero frequency capturing non-seasonal unit root. And alpha 2, after substituting S is equal to 4, you have got alpha 2 here. So alpha 2 measures the biannual unit roots. And the rest part, the complex roots you have got, if you remember, when we factorize 1 minus L to the power 4 equal to 0, and to find out the values for L, there are 4 characteristic roots. 2 roots are complex. So the complex roots is expressed by this part. Okay. So alpha S by 2, that is in any case, in the case of quarterly data, it becomes alpha 2. In the case of monthly data, it becomes alpha 6 like this. In all cases, it measures the half seasonal duration associated with the Nyquist frequency pi. Beta 1j and beta 2j are the annual wave associated with the conjugate seasonal frequencies twice pi j by s and twice pi minus twice pi j by s. Here j varies from 1 to s star. So as in the case of quarterly data, s star is equal to 1. So you can set z is equal to 1 again in the expression for quarterly data. Okay. So for quarterly data, s is equal to 4. So s star is equal to 1. So j is equal to 1. Therefore, the trigonometric functions used in the polynomial function becomes cos pi by 2 sin pi by 2. So for quarterly data, this expression looks simple. But for monthly data, it becomes complicated. Okay.
Sir, what do we mean by Nyquist frequency?
Nyquist frequency means when we divide the total seasons into two parts in terms of the pi radian.
আর স্যার এখানে এই যে আমরা যে ওয়েভ গুলো বলছি এটা কি অনেকটাই বিজনেস সাইকেলের যেরকম অ্যামপ্লিটিউড গুলো
অবশ্যই অবশ্যই হ্যাঁ শিওর বিজনেস সাইকেলের ওয়েভের সাথে তফাৎ হচ্ছে এটা হচ্ছে সিজনাল ওয়েভ
সিজনাল হ্যাঁ
এই ওয়েভটা রিপিটেড হচ্ছে উইদিন আ ইয়ার বিজনেস সাইকেলের ক্ষেত্রে তা না বিজনেস সাইকেলের ক্ষেত্রে
সাইকেল 1 ইয়ার
ইয়েস মোর দ্যান 1 ইয়ার নরমালি যেটা হয় সো দিস ইজ দ্য ডিফারেন্স বিটুইন বিজনেস সাইকেলস এন্ড সিজনাল সাইকেলস so you can explain the similar trick to capture the seasonal business cycles. And the deterministic part, mu t, is specified in this way. In the original version, the deterministic part considers the drift parameter, the deterministic trend, as well as the seasonal dummies. So we can write these three parts in compact form as delta prime WT. Now, what are the null hypotheses? Now, null hypothesis you need to express here in terms of alpha. Earlier, you had expressed in terms of pi 1, pi 2, pi 1 relating to null hypothesis 1, pi 2 for null hypothesis 2, pi 3, pi 4 for null hypothesis 3. In this modified method, null hypothesis could be expressed in terms of alpha. So one null hypothesis H naught comma 0, that is for 0 frequency. Alpha naught is equal to 1. And if this null hypothesis is not rejected, It indicates the presence of non-seasonal unit root. Second null hypothesis, H naught S by 2. Alpha S by 2 is equal to 1. This one is associated with the Nyquist frequency pi. The third null hypothesis, H naught K, beta 1 K is equal to 1, beta 2 K is equal to 0. What would be the value for K? K is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to S by 2 minus 1. For quarterly series, S is equal to 4. So 4 by 2 means 2, 2 minus 1 means 1. So in the case of quarterly series, K is equal to 1. So the third null hypothesis is associated with the seasonal harmonic frequencies. And the respective alternatives you can easily understand. Alpha naught less than 1, alpha S by 2 less than 1. And the third one, beta 1 K square plus beta 2 K square less than 1. Now to carry out this test, at first, you have to detrend the series. How to detrend? You need to estimate the deterministic part first by applying OLS or by applying GLS. This part. And after estimation, you can get the detrended series as this. It is basically the residual. So detrending series is obtained as YT minus delta hat prime WT. So what is delta hat prime WT? It is the estimated part of the deterministic component of the seasonal series. So after detrending, you need to estimate this augmented form. Delta S YT tilde. YT tilde is the detrended value for Y. Is equal to pi naught Y naught tilde T plus pi S by 2 Y tilde S by 2 T plus sum of pi 1 I Y tilde 1 IT plus pi 2 I Y tilde 2 IT. This sum will vary from I is equal to 1 to S by 2 minus 1. plus the augmented term sum of tau j delta s y tilde t minus j plus epsilon t. Now try to write down the same expression for quarterly series. Quarterly series এর ক্ষেত্রে এটা কি হবে লেখো, লিখে আমাকে বলো। For quarterly series s is equal to 4, এভাবে বসিয়ে যাও। So it becomes pi naught y tilde 0t plus pi 2 y tilde 2t plus, if we said s is equal to 4, so there is no need to take any sum. So this part becomes pi 1i y tilde 1i t. No need for I because there is no need to take sum. So it becomes pi 1 y1 tilde t plus pi 2 y2 tilde t. And the augmented part, sum of tau j delta 4 y tilde t minus j plus epsilon t. Okay. হয়েছে?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now here again you need to understand the meaning for y naught tilde, y1 tilde, etc. What is y naught tilde t? Y naught tilde t is equal to sum of y tilde t minus I minus 1. I varies from 0 to s minus 1. So write this expression for quarterly series. Quarterly series এর ক্ষেত্রে কি হবে এই ভ্যালুটা বলো।
Sir, y tilde naught t is equal to sum over I running from 0 to 3 y tilde t minus I minus 1.
এটাকে এক্সপ্যান্ডেড ফর্মে লিখলে কি হবে? Y tilde t minus 1 plus y tilde t minus 2 plus y tilde t minus 3 plus y tilde t minus 4. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, fine.
So it basically takes the sum for all quarters in a year. So y tilde naught t basically captures the annual movement. For that reason, pi naught is related to non-seasonal unit root. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now y tilde s by 2t, this part, y tilde s by 2t, y tilde s by 2t is equal to, again you can write sum of cos of I plus 1 pi y tilde t minus I minus 1. I varies from 0 to s minus 1. So what would be the expression for quarterly series? Again put here s is equal to 4. দেখি পাচ্ছ দেখো। So here I varies from 0 to 3. তাহলে এক্সপ্রেশনটা কি দাঁড়াবে এক্সপ্যান্ডেড ফর্মে বলো তো কেউ একজন
Sir, cos pi y tilde t minus 1 plus cos 2 pi y tilde t minus 3. Sorry, t minus 2. Sorry, sir. T minus 2 plus cos 3 pi y cos 3 pi y tilde t minus 3 plus cos 3 pi y tilde t minus 4.
তাহলে এখানে আমার সাইকেলটা ভ্যারি করছে কিভাবে পাই পাইয়ের মাল্টিপল pi, twice pi, thrice pi, 4 pi, etc. Okay, so this is the Nyquist frequency. এই ট্রিগোনোমেট্রিক ফাংশনের ইমপ্লিকেশনটা বুঝতে পারছো সবাই it basically creates a cycle কোসাইন কার্ভ মনে আছে কি রকম দেখতে হয় ট্রিগোনোমেট্রি
ক্রেস্টটা ট্র থাকবে মানে দুটো পার্ট থাকবে
হ্যাঁ
তো পুরো একদম রিসেশন আর বুমে যেরকম হয় সেরকম
হ্যাঁ আপস এন্ড ডাউনস
হ্যাঁ স্যার
নাও y1 tilde it এটা হয়ে গেছে সবাই লিখেছো
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Then y1 I tilde t. Write it. y1 I tilde t is equal to sum of again cos of I plus 1 into twice pi j by s. Y tilde t minus I minus 1. Here I varies from 0 to s minus 1. And what is j? J is equal to 1 to up to s by 2 minus 1. So again write this expression for quarterly series in expanded form. Expanded form এ লিখলে তবেই তুমি মিনিংটা বুঝতে পারবে আদারওয়াইজ পারবে না ওই যে কেন ওটাকে আমি জিরো ফ্রিকোয়েন্সি বলছি বা নন সিজনাল বলছি কেন ওটাকে বায়ানুয়াল মুভমেন্ট বলছি কেন এটাকে অ্যানুয়াল সাইকেল বলছি এটা তখনই বুঝতে পারবে যখন তুমি এটাকে এক্সপ্যান্ডেড ফর্মে লিখবে সো write it down in expanded form for quarterly series. Why we have chosen here quarterly series? Because it is relatively easy to understand. Similar task you have to do at home for monthly series. ভেবে ভেবে বার করবে মান্থলি সিরিজের ক্ষেত্রে কি 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 হচ্ছে তাহলে এটা কি দাঁড়ালো what is the expression for y1 it tilde for quarterly series
Sir, bolbo.
হ্যাঁ বলো
Cos 2 pi by 3 j into y t minus 1 tilde plus
2 pi by 3 কেন I এর ভ্যালু 0 বসাচ্ছো
পাই
হ্যাঁ
Pi by 2.
0
pi by 2 হবে twice actually it is
Pi by
twice
2
pi by 4 that is pi by
হ্যাঁ।
2 j is equal to 1 কোয়ার্টারলি সিরিজের ক্ষেত্রে তাহলে এটা সব ক্ষেত্রেই pi by 2 এবার i এর ভ্যালুটা একবার 0 বসাও 1 বসাও 0 1 2 3 okay
Yes, sir.
similarly y tilde twice it Now, if you look at closely, y1 tilde it and y2 tilde it basically are the conjugates. Write it down for the quarterly series. একই রকমই হবে, সাইন দিয়ে আসবে with minus sign. So you can get the similar expression but in terms of sine function. Not earlier you have got the cosine function, now you will get sine function. So our null hypothesis was originally alpha naught equal to 1, alpha s by 2 equal to 1, and this. So we can rewrite the null hypothesis in terms of pi, the detrended, the augmented form in detrended series. Coefficients we have expressed in terms of pi naught, pi s by 2, etc. So you can rewrite the null hypothesis in terms of pi as, this is the first null hypothesis. Pi naught equal to 0, capturing non-seasonal unit root. Pi naught s by 2, pi s by 2 equal to 0. This is biannual unit root. And the third one, pi 1 I equal to 0, pi 2 I equal to 0. Okay. I have written here the similar expressions for monthly series, but you try at home independently. What would be the expression for monthly series?